Hello there everyone, and welcome back to some more Let's Play Halcyon 6. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? This is going to be me restarting this campaign, and I'll be playing through the Lightspeed edition now of this game, rather than the Classic edition. This is also going to be going into its own playlist, just as a heads up as well, rather than me tacking it on to the end of the last one. But know that my channel has a Halcyon 6 Classic playlist in it. In regards to this one, you can skip this prep by going down to the comments section. I'll have a pinned comment that I'll have put there with a timestamp that will let you jump ahead where we don't talk about Halcyon 6, and another timestamp that will let you skip the tutorial in case you don't care about that sort of thing either. In which case, we'll probably be starting around day 20 or 21 in-game, and I'll begin making decisions that will get us all horrifically killed by the Chrull. So what the heck is Halcyon 6, Tim? Why am I playing it? And how far have I gotten in it? Because I just mentioned I had a playlist on my channel about it. What the heck is Lightspeed Edition? Well, Halcyon 6 was a game I backed on Kickstarter a long time ago now. I haven't ventured on a Kickstarter in a long time. In any case, this is a turn-based strategy game. What is it like? We have a starbase to manage. We have a certain amount of rooms in the starbase, which we will have to clear them first, and then construct different... what's what I'm looking for? What's right on the tip of my tongue? Facilities within them. Similar to the ant view, the anthill view for the... what's it called? The new XCOM series. We will have a group of captains, commanders, pilots, officers, which will be flying different types of ships around to gather resources and fight off the enemy and complete quests for us. The combat in this game is reminiscent of the JRPGs like Final Fantasy or Subterra Core, or any game which has an initiative order, and then you... what's another game I could think of? This was on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. A game where you have like your 3 people on one side, and enemy has their 3 people on their side, and you take turns using abilities and slugging it out and casting magic spells or whatever it is that you have, what have you. Only it's represented as spaceships some of the times, and other times it's your crew down on the surface of a planet battling it out against various types of aliens down there. It has various resources we'll need to manage as well. And the game's difficulty I have found to be incredibly grueling. But I think this is because of how I play the game. We'll talk more about that in a bit. You should know that for how far I got in the game, I think I made it very close to the end of Chapter 1 back in Classic Edition. But my game was plagued with many bugs and glitches, and in the end I was unable to make any more progress, and I just dropped the game at that point. I believe Lightspeed... Oh, hold on, a little bit more on that first. So I have a... How should I describe it? I've had some bad experiences with the game because of it. But this is Lightspeed Edition, and I believe the developers were busy patching and fixing the game in the few years it's been, at least 1 year, I think, 1.5 years since I last played this game. In my case as well, my save file basically ended up being unfixable, and there was nothing else the developers could do. They actually tried to help me and restored some of my save file as well, so I don't really want to say the company's bad or anything of the sort. I just really want to say that it reached a point where I couldn't salvage the game. I was like, oh, that's a shame. Oh well, done with this game for the time being. Now, what is Lightspeed Edition? Because I mentioned Lightspeed in Classic. Well, Classic is still around, and it uses the layout is different, the graphics are slightly what I would consider to be a little worse, and it takes longer for you to beat the campaign. However, there is no real... I guess Lightspeed Edition makes things a little more streamlined. It has a few different patches associated with it, and in my opinion is probably better at every aspect compared to Classic. That said, if you want a longer game, where it takes you longer to gather resources or what have you, Classic is still out there. But we're going to be playing Lightspeed this time around. I actually really like this background very much. I like the glow coming out of the Halcyon 6 space station as well. So, is there anything else I should talk about? I don't think so. I think that about sums everything up. If you would like a a character here, if you want to basically be one of the officers who is out and exploring, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will rename one of the characters after you. You'll have to let me know if you want to play an engineer, a tactical officer, or a science officer. Tactical are DPS, rogue-like characters. Science are basically your healers or mages, and then engineers are basically your tanks. Let me know, and I will add you as a character. I intend to be present as well as a science officer, though not the main one, as it were. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go and check to make sure my voice is coming out okay with this so far. And if everything is good, we'll be back and we will start the tutorial. I will see you guys in a few seconds. Okay, everyone. Sounds like my voice is coming out okay. I've actually raised the volume just a tad, but I don't think I'll have to fight it. Let's go ahead and start us up a new game, shall we? Let's see what this Lightspeed edition is all about. Oh my goodness, they added quite a bit of difficulty over there. Oh my god. Alright, welcome to the main campaign screen, everyone. So we have to choose a difficulty. Since I have always struggled in this game, even on Commander, I'm gonna leave it on Commander and not bother to increase it. Commander, normal. You have some experience with space strategy games. I could play Captain, but again, everyone, I find this to be extremely difficult. I don't think I can actually beat the game on anything else other than Commander. And since I haven't gotten too much gameplay in with this, past what had been up here for the normal game, we're going to leave it on Commander difficulty. We're going to go ahead and leave it on main campaign rather than skip prologue, because it's been a while. So we'll go ahead and watch the introduction. This also means that we will do the tutorial. The tutorial is long. In fact, I'm gonna guess that it's like the majority of this video, like 45 minutes or so, will be the tutorial, just as a heads up. And I don't know what this add-on DLC does, the Precursor's Legacy, but I suppose we'll leave it checked, and we'll see what that does for us too. Iron Man. Play with a single save that is automatically updated as you progress through the game. Rerolls for officer selection are also disabled. I will not click this. However, I will do my best to promise to you guys that I will not load a game if I make a mistake. We will go forward, even despite mistakes, but I want to be able to reroll officers. I suppose I should point out one thing about all of this. If you skip the prologue, you will be allowed to make a character rather than choosing from the first 3 that are presented to you. But since I haven't even beaten the main game, we'll just leave it on main campaign. Alright, so let's do it. Start a game. The Collective are also confused by hugging. Yeah, so am I. For half a millennium, the spacefaring races of the galaxy fought and conspired against one another for supremacy. But it was the Terran Federation, through the ingenuity and bravery of its officer class, that ultimately prevailed. Through the discovery and utilization of ancient artifacts left over from a long-dead precursor alien race, they put an end to the disastrous series of wars between the factions. One of these precursors artifacts is your home, Halcyon 6. The crown jewel of the Terran precursor discoveries, the Starbase acts as the Federation's home base in the Halcyon sector. Commanded by Admiral Brimachandra, the Federation's most decorated officer, and protected by the 12th Fleet, the Starbase is permanently staffed with a variety of Federation officers with the mission of unlocking its mysteries. Today, however, the station has received some unwelcome news. A garbled hypercast ordering the 12th Fleet's return to Federation space. With the intention of returning as soon as possible to continue the work on the experiment, Admiral Brimachandra leaves you in charge of the station. Prepare for warp! So we are watching the Admiral go to the new Terran Federation. Admiral, we've arrived at the rendezvous point, and there's no sign of the welcoming force. No hypercast signals detected either. Think we're early? We're on your detection signal, Captain. The 4th and 8th Fleets are expected to join us as well, and those Titan-class ships should be hard to miss. Admiral, I'm picking up something. Definitely not Federation in origin. Some kind of... Whatever it is, it's getting stronger, sir. I've never seen anything like this before, sir. Some kind of portal. Admiral, I'm suddenly getting multiple ship readings, all heading for our position. They must be coming out of that thing. Unknown hostiles. I repeat, unknown hostiles. We might have to get a little creative here. Commander, they're powering up weapons. We should take initiative and attack first. Click on the highlighted button to attack with the incisor beam power. Alright everyone, we're going to get a brief tutorial on combat. This will not cover nearly as much as we're going to need to learn, but we're just going to read it and go through it, and hopefully it will make sense to you guys. I will explain combat more in depth later after we're done with the tutorial. Right now we're going to go ahead and select the incisor beam. Target the spiked alien to fire the incisor beam. Firing up incisor beam. Next, use the backstab maneuver to inflict ship disable and prevent your enemy from attacking. Target the ocular vessel to disable it. Never saw me coming. Excellent. Now select drone swarm attack to attack all enemies at once. Enemies have resistances and vulnerabilities against specific status effects. Oh, that wasn't very effective. It's extremely important that you take advantage of this. You can right-click on an enemy to view their vulnerabilities and resistances. But not now. The ocular vessel seems to be powering up a large attack. Shield yourself with protective field to mitigate the damage. Target an ally. In this case, everyone will be targeted. Shields up! The ocular vessel still has the ship disabled status. Fire bridge shot to combo and exploit the ship disabled status effect for extra damage. Great! Combos occur when an attack exploits a status effect. Nice combo, McLaren. Thank you, sir. Did you see that, Rogers? Don't get too cocky, Commander. They're not dead yet. Combos occur when you attack an exploited ship status effect, like ship disabled. Select the acid bomb's power to attack your enemies, doing damage over several rounds. Target an enemy. Doesn't matter which one, because it targets all of them. Oh, what is this stuff? Whatever it is, it's eating at our armor. When ships are in critical condition, any further damage could result in complete destruction. Use Corduroy's hole to repair the ship immediately. Target the Admiral's Paladin ship to repair it and leave critical condition. Like Darkest Dungeon, you can only lose a ship if it's already at 0 hit points. You cannot be insta-gibbed from full life to 0 life. But you can do that to the enemy vessels. Now select Strafing Run to try to finish them off. Target any enemy. Great job! However, the Admiral is still in bad shape. Select the Repair Drone Overdrive power to repair. All repair abilities have a limited number of uses per mission and must be replenished by returning to Halcyon 6. Target the Admiral's Paladin to repair itself over time and remove any negative status effects. Use the Ninja's Doom Cannon as a last resort. It can only be used once, so make it count. You might have noticed that some of these abilities have a number above them. That's the number of times in the, I guess, per mission that they can be used. We'll have to, I think, go back to Halcyon 6 to replenish this. Target the Chitinous monster, or chitinous monster. Commander McLaurin's Ninja is in critical condition and is taking damage over time from hull ruptured. If it's not repaired immediately, it might be destroyed. Use the Warlock's Corduroy's Hole repair power. The Warlock's Corduroy's Hole repair power has no more uses left. Your only hope is to use Status Lock to disable the enemy. Try and lock it down! Now finish it off with the Paladin's Dreadnought Ram. Destroy the ocular vessel. Ramming speed! Admiral, I don't think... We've lost a ship, but the battle is almost won. Number 1, no! Select Solar Flare to finish it off. This is for McLaren, you chitinous bastard! Admiral, we're picking up more of those portals on sensor. We're being surrounded. Admiral, we need to jump now, back to Halcyon 6. I've got... Oh, God. What is that? That thing! Jump now, for God's sake, jump! Commander, we seem to have lost our hypercast link with Admiral Brimachandra and the 12th Fleet. Halcyon 6. Starbase Commander. With the 12th Fleet destroyed and little information as to whether the Federation still even stands, you and your crew are stranded in hostile alien territory, cut off from resupply, and in desperate need of more crew. You have little choice but to continue working on Admiral Brimachandra's experiment to try to unlock the power of the station. Meanwhile, enemies may soon catch wind of the Federation's weakness and use that as an opportunity to strike and claim the station for themselves. Choose your first officer. Okay, everyone. No matter what, when you start a new game, if you did not select Skip Prologue, you will have to choose amongst these 3 starting officers. Physicist, Strategist, and Mechanic, I believe, indicates which space and ground combat abilities they have unlocked. These prestige classes are new to Lightspeed Edition, and I do not know anything about them, other than they have their own abilities here. I guess I'll hover over them really quickly, although I do not know what any of these does whatsoever. I'm assuming these are extra new abilities that these people get that can be used, I guess, in space combat, would be my guess. Maybe all the time, but this looks like these look like ship abilities to me for some reason. We can also see that each of these officers have a proficiency and a weakness. I think proficiency means that we have a greater chance to apply the effect, and weakness means we have a greater chance to be affected by that effect, but do not quote me on that. That might not be the case whatsoever. In any case, I've chosen Isolde Freehold the past few times. I will not do so this time. We're going to go ahead and pick Corbin Lao for our starting officer. Corbin Lao was born aboard the TFS Tamerlane in the middle of a warp jump, leading to him gaining the dreaded epithet Warp Baby, which followed him from kindergarten through academy prep. His deep-seated resentment to that fact has led him to cultivate an almost impossibly optimistic disposition, while his inner thoughts are left only to himself and to the counselor aboard the ship under his command. So, he will gain Bridge Shot, Dimensional Flashbang, Fire at Will, and Into the Fray as unlockable powers. He will not start with these. And in ground combat, I think he actually has some of these to start, but not all of them. I don't know. Let's go ahead and select them to start. Tactical officers are the most daring and quick-thinking officers in the Federation. Their power repertoire consists of sneak attacks, immobilization attacks, and combos, while their buff powers can often add aim and damage boosts to friendly units. In space combat, tactical officers are able to command tactical ships, which are the hardest hitting of the 3 ship classes. Tactical Science Engineer. I suppose I should quickly point out one thing. The Mechanic is basically a tank who has some healing abilities. The Strategist is DPS, pure and simple with some disable. The Science Vessels are disable and healing. Confirm the choice. Sorry to wake you, Commander, but it looks like we have a situation. Our sensors have picked up a fleet coming in our direction. The signals suggest a pirate origin. We should expect them to arrive here in 48 hours. In case of hostilities, the experiment may be our only hope to defend ourselves. The crew will work around the clock to make the necessary preparations. Commander, the oncoming fleet we detected has just entered our space. It's a single pirate ship, likely hostile. Patching them through now. Federation Starbase. Our scouts detected the departure of your fleet over a week ago. You're now at the mercy of Admirax Zeb and the Zealots clan. Hand over the Starbase, and we'll allow you to return to Federation space. Comply, or we will commence orbital bombardment. This is a scenario screen. The screen will appear during missions that require key decisions, such as attacking, retreating, or using an officer to gain a special outcome. In this case, the pirate fleet is demanding your surrender. Choose the response below. We will reject their surrender. I forgot. You Federals love your precursor toys. Prepare for bombardment, Federation scum. Commander, in light of this development, we should begin initializing the experimental starship creation process now. Press on the ship construction button, so we're going to be shown how to build a spaceship. The Rogue-class tactical vessel is currently the only starship the Starbase is able to build. Select it now. This is because of tutorial reasons. We chose a tactical hero, and so we must build a tactical vessel. And the game won't let us build a marksman, which is a different one. Now press the construct ship button to get the process started. I think it's important to stop here though and note a few things to start. Note the cost down here and the build time. This is going to cost us 38 crew out of our 345 and 375 dark matter out of the 1,405 we possess. These are going to be the resources we possess as we go through the game. We'll need to manage these when it comes to constructing ships, researching upgrades, and building facilities inside our Halcyon 6 Starbase. Now press the construct button to confirm and add the starship to the queue. The starship will take a few days to build. To skip time, you'll first need to return to the star map. Press the star map button. Press here to skip time. It's a tutorial, everyone, so we cannot do anything else but what the tutorial wants us to do. Commander, we're ready to launch in T-minus 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Matter carrier deployed. Commander, the experiment was a success. All scans suggest this newly constructed ship to be combat ready. She just requires an officer to command her. First, select your officer, Corbin Lao, to assign him to the new rogue ship. To dispatch this ship, you'll need to return to the star map by pressing here. A heads up that tactical officers pilot tactical ships. They cannot pilot a engineering vessel nor a science vessel, only tactical ones. The same holds true for the other types of classes in this game. Tactical officers always and can only pilot tactical ships, engineers engineering, and science officers science vessels. The enemy fleet is stationed at the Starbase approach. Select it now. Press the Send Fleet button to dispatch a fleet to this location. The approach to the Starbase. Any enemy fleets wishing to bombard Halcyon 6 will likely take this exact position. So first, we have to create a fleet to do this. Press on the top Select a Ship slot to add your newly built ship to the first fleet. Now select your rogue ship and add it to the fleet. Finally, select the launch fleet to dispatch your fleet to the selected location. The pirate ship swoops into attack position. Before every battle, you can prepare your ship by configuring your loadouts. Use this opportunity to select the abilities that take advantage of your enemy's vulnerabilities, if you can. Now this is newish. In the standard edition of Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander, you could only select what abilities you wanted while you were at the Starbase. In fact, when the game was first released, you couldn't even do that. Certain ships were locked to using certain types of abilities only. But then they added it so that any ship could select any ability they wanted, but you had to do it before you launched. Now, we have the ability to select what abilities we want to use before we engage in combat. That is so useful. That is such a nice change. So in this case, we'll right-click on the Navigator MK1 to read about it a little bit. So it does more damage against engineering vessels. Navigator-class pirate science ship. We can see that it takes more damage and has less of a chance to avoid an engines down status effect. We can see that its resistance to Chrull panic, vulnerable and weapons disruption. So we won't really want to use those abilities. So let's go ahead and edit and see what abilities we have. So we have Crippling Shot, which deals 53 through 83 points of damage to the enemy's propulsion system, so we definitely want to select this. Notice that it also says inflicts engines down, even more of a reason why we want to select it, since this vessel is weak against that. We'll stick with harass. And I guess we'll stick with target teleport explosives as well. Alright, let's go ahead and start, shall we? Now, there's some things that the game hasn't explained and won't explain, so I think I need to do so. Number one, your ship must perform an action. Sometimes, actually most of the time, outside the tutorial, you'll have the option to also retreat. Your entire fleet must take at least one round of enemy fire before they're able to withdraw, though. So if you know the battle's lost, hit it instantly, rather than trying to survive. In this case, we must select one of these abilities and use it against the enemy. We cannot retreat. Note down here as well, this is the turn order, or the initiative order. We go first, then he's going to go. Then we go, then he goes. This will dynamically be altered depending upon abilities that are used in combat. Let's show you. So we're going to go ahead and select Crippling Shot, and we'll hit the Navigator MK1 with this ability. Note that because he's vulnerable, he's going to take an extra 116 points of damage from this ability. Also, we have a plus 50% chance to apply the Engines Down and status effect to him. Right on target. What does Engines Down do? Notice that it's stationed on this unit. Well, it lowers his speed by 25%. Notice that that's affected the turn order down here. We go next, then he goes, then we go twice more. Let's go ahead and weaken him a little bit with the target teleport explosives. Great. Oh, wow. Well, that happened. Why didn't we just attack? I mean, I was going to anyway. It must be something about crew panic. We gained 23 materials and 40 dark matter for the battle 1. That's a shame. I wanted to show something special about teleport explosives. My first victory of many. Commander, we have a long-range hypercast coming in. Putting it through now. From time to time, the leaders of various factions may contact you via the station bridge. I don't believe we've met. Feel free to refer to me as the Admirax, a title that denotes my supreme command over this pirate clans in this sector. Now, Commander, or should I say, acting Commander, my spies tell me that I should congratulate you on your new post. They've also informed me that your fleet has fled the sector, leaving you on your own. And so I'm giving you the courtesy of informing you that we'll be visiting you very soon. And this is my territory! And so your station now belongs to me. And unlucky for you, I've united all the pirate clans to help me take it. I highly suggest you turn tail and return to Federation space. If you are of another mind, stay where you are and prepare for your deaths. Time for death, Federation pig. I will avenge the death of Razub Toe Slicer and deliver this station to the Admirax. I applaud your confidence. Next time, apply it more constructively. Prepare for battle. So just as before, we're fighting, oh, not before, we get a chance to edit these. Let's take a look at these guys really quick. A Tier 0 ship, Shiv Mk1. The Shiv class ships are stolen Federation scout vessels that have been heavily modified by pirates. They are fast and hard to hit. I like that in particular. I think another change they had done is that all the pirates have the same type of resistances. All of them, I believe. You don't have to worry about some ships having some resistances and others having different ones and so on. So they follow the same effect. They all are weak to engines down, resistant to cruel panic, heavily resistant to vulnerable weapons, and slightly resistant to weapons disruption. I'm going to go ahead and just leave these, what we have already on our, as our equipable abilities, and let's fight. Okay, let's get started. So we'll use Crippling Shot. Now note that these guys are a little agile. We don't have a 100% chance to hit them this time around. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put teleport explosives on this guy. It won't kill him, far from it. But I'm hoping for something called I think an overkill. Now, there's also going to be a chance to hover over sabotage right here. Oh, this is called inflict sabotage, but it's called teleport explosives. Okay, so sabotage is a damage over time ability. Note that we inflict 26 damage per round. What it's trying to tell us down below is that we've inflicted 26 points of damage out of the 102 points of damage this ability will inflict on the enemy. You might not be able to see it, but these abilities also have some of it is grayed out. That's showing how much time has been consumed on the ability. Engines down will probably fade on this Shiv when we go next time. But I'm hoping we can destroy this Shiv right now with the harass. Oh, maybe it should actually be a Crippling Shot, because it's vulnerable to that. Overkill! Nice. You always want overkills. You want them whenever you can get them, for reasons I'll explain later. Let's teleport explosives. You may be wondering, why such a weak ability, Tim? Well, it's exactly for that reason that you saw. Sabotage does a little bit of damage over time, and that little bit of damage will make it so that its hit points are even lower, which gives you a greater chance to overkill the enemy. I think you need to inflict like greater than 50% of its total hit points on the kill to get the overkill. Yep. So we didn't quite get over 100 hit points of extra damage there to him. We've earned 50 materials and 73 dark matter. Oh, we didn't get anything special for the overkill that time. You know, I think I actually prefer it when I'm outnumbered. You can always return your fleet to the Starbase by first selecting your desired fleet, and then pressing the Return Home button. You can replenish all your per-mission limited use abilities, like repairs and epic powers, when you return to Halcyon 6. Commander, the crew is eager to regain our full sensor capabilities. To do that, we require an extra source of energy. The good news is the tech research team has figured out a way to harness the station's core reactor with a smaller standard-issue diatherium reactor. Press on the tech research button to go to the tech research screen. Select the diatherium reactor tech. Tech research on how to build a I was saying diatherium, I guess it's okay. Reactor on Halcyon 6 to power the Starbase. Generates plus 20 power. Now press the research button. Note that it requires 150 materials and 75 dark matter to research this. Researching it, though, instantly unlocks it, and you benefit from it immediately. You don't have to worry about it consuming so many days until the research is completed. With the diatherium reactor tech researched, it's time to create a space in the station for the reactor itself. Press on the Starbase button. Now select the ruined room below the tech research archives, and click on the Add Officer button. Select your first officer, Corbin Lao, to assign him to the job, and press Confirm. So, this, as you can see, looks somewhat similar to the XCOM anthill view of your base. Like that, you must clear rooms in order to be able to use them by placing some sort of facility within them. Unlike XCOM, you must assign a person to do the job. I don't remember you having to do that in the XCOM series. Also, unlike XCOM, there can be encounters inside these rooms. You might encounter like creatures and have to fight them in ground combat, or what's called an away mission. We'll see that later, and it'll give you a chance to explain it then. I don't think we'll see them in the tutorial itself. We can skip time. Let's go to the Starbase and press this button. Commander, we've cleared out that section you asked for. Our hero has gained 2 experience points, and we've earned 30 additional materials for clearing out that room. Show location. Respiration team has successfully cleared the room. Now that that room is cleared, select the diatherium reactor and press the Construct Room button. Return to the star map, and then skip time. We have no choice but to do this. This is technically a waste of our tactical officer's time just sitting around, but you'll see us be making better choices soon. The station is fully powered, Commander, and our sensors are back online. We've compiled a navigational map of all the Federation systems and facilities. As a loyal member of the Federation officer class, it is your duty to protect these facilities at all costs. In case of an attack, these facilities will transmit distress signals to us. Depending on the level of danger in the area, you may wish to evacuate them. Distress signals will always be listed in the missions panel. Press here to access it. Missions with a specific location will have a go-to button for convenience. Send your fleet to the nearby nebula. Type Nebula. Nebula contain pockets of rare gas that can be refined into warp fuel. Distressed Refinery. The fuel refinery at Ghost Head Nebula is calling for help against a never-before-encountered alien vessel. Now, something I want to point out is that our rogue ship has been fully repaired. This is only because this is still the tutorial. Normally, we would have suffered that damage that took place in our battle with the pirates, and slowly over time, our ship would be repaired. When you launch a ship from your station out to some other location, if it was damaged, you have the option then to use dark matter to repair the ship to full, or all your ships to full, I believe. All right, let's launch the fleet. We're going against an alien infector ship. Prepare for combat. Let's look at the Chrull. Tier 0. Chrull science ships use chaos and psychic attacks to debuff and cause damage over time. So it looks like they are vulnerable to hull breach, very resistant to weapons disruption, can resist being stunned, and are somewhat resistant to sensors offline. We can see the abilities they use as well. Brood Pods heals a target, as with 3-turn cooldown. Oh, I didn't cover that. We'll cover that soon. And Chaos Cannons. Alright, let's go ahead and fight. I love this song. Alright, so we should stick with Crippling Shot to start, so that this way the enemy moves slower. Let's go ahead and start with that. Nice, good dodge. Note that Crippling Shot cannot be used again. This is because it has a cooldown of 2 turns. Every other turn, we will be able to use Crippling Shot. Some abilities have something called a warm-up. That means that you will not be able to use that ability until the warm-up counter is 0. A warm-up, I think, of 2 means that at the start of the second round, you will be able to use it. There's also recovery. I don't really know what that means. I think that's a cooldown which is only present after you use the ability, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and teleport explosives. Test. Harass him. Nice! Salvage equipment. So we earned 24 materials, 32 dark matter, and we gained a special piece of gear. Good thing you turned up when you did, sir. Whatever that vessel was, it managed to chew up our only sentry ship a few days ago. It did some nasty damage to our refinery also. My crew's pretty shaken up. The good news is we've got some fuel reserves from before the attack. Just give the word, we'll transfer them over to you. Ghost Head Nebula, fuel refinery, crew population 175, generates 1 fuel a day, and has 15 fuel currently there. Let's transfer it to the fleet. 15 fuel boarded. Return your fleet to the Starbase to unload any resources you collected. Now, this is a bit of a misdemeanor, because this is fuel. And this is a tutorial, so things aren't quite... It's not quite this way, if I recall correctly, given some recent changes. Well, I'll explain them when we're done with the tutorial. And selecting the Return Home button, you can replenish all of your per-mission limited use abilities, like repairs and epic powers, when you return to Halcyon 6, but we didn't use any, so... And we collected 15 fuel. It got added to our fuel reserves up here. We completed a quest, so we've also earned 15 materials. Commander, with all the recent events, the crew felt it necessary to create a short briefing for you. Here it is. Briefing entries. Upgrade the Starbase and the fleet. Let's read about that one. Building new room modules will require first carving out habitable space in the Starbase by assigning officers to explore its ruined modules. Then we should build an officer academy to enable officer recruitment. That way we can train new officers to command any starships we build via the ship construction room. Recover Federation facilities. Following the invasion by those mysterious flesh vessels, most of the Federation is destroyed. However, some facilities seem to have been overlooked in the attack. We should send our fleets to explore the area in order to make contact with any survivors. Investigate the space pirates. We've been raided by pesky space pirates in this sector. Once we have a functioning fleet, we should pick off some of their smaller ships in order to gain a better idea of what we're up against. Alright everyone, let's start the actual game. Before you start, you should directly promote a new officer from the ranks. I prepared a list of suitable officers for you to choose from. So I'm thinking we want a... I think we want a science vessel next, or rather I want the science vessel next. And I kind of like this character right here. I like the space combat abilities that she has. And I don't mind seeing Chaos Theorist. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick Katie Mikhailov, shall we? As an officer. Oh, and by the way, everyone, don't forget, I think I mentioned it already in the introduction, that if you would like to be in this game series as a character, let me know, and the first 2 for each character class, engineer, science, or tactical, will be present. I will name the character after you, or after a name you choose. You can also name your ship. I don't know if I mentioned that. So if you tell me what name you want your ship to be called, we will name your ship as well. All right, so let's pick Katie Mikhailov. Katie Mikhailov is the founding member of a zoological foundation with the stated goal of taking all known galactic fauna and plant life and bringing it to one giant zoo planet. She acknowledges that it's unlikely to happen strictly for logistical reasons, but refuses to let the dream die. Good choice, sir. You can never have too many science officers, if I say so myself. Commander, a member of the science team has made a stunning breakthrough that could result in us being able to build a precursor starship. Give me the details. As part of her archiving duties, one of the science team took it upon herself to upload the entire suite of human history and literature into the station's central computer, for safekeeping, you understand. However, halfway through the onerous process, the station seems to have taken a liking to some of the work. Fascinating. Something in the mid-19th century American canon seems to have really struck a chord, and almost as if triggered by this newfound understanding of human worth, the station has supplied us with a precursor starship room schematic. We've already assigned our best precursor specialists to decipher other potential ways of communicating with the station, but in the meantime we should construct that room as soon as possible. Okay, acknowledged. Okay everyone, so we are now finally out of the tutorial. And I think I probably need to stop because it feels like I'm playing for like 40 minutes. Let's look at our missions we have to do so far. Expand the fleet. And after we can... oh, there's no reward listed here? Okay, but there totally is a reward, I think, for doing all of this. Go to Ghost Head. Arquilo requesting aid. Where is that? Over there. Hunt down pirate fleets. And we have this to do as well. Okay. Oh, nice. You can even say, show me all the names of the planets and everything. Okay, everyone. So, oh, we also have notification. Starbase facility distress signal. Star system Acryli over here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look around. And I'm going to... So this entire episode, everyone, turns out it's probably just going to be me talking. So I'm going to try to explain a bunch of stuff that we see before us. So... I'm already going to fail, apparently. So the first thing that we need to understand is that we want to begin exploring as many of these planets as possible because we need to see which ones are operating and which of these possess facilities which are operating and which ones have been destroyed. Because time will elapse as we do various things like clear out room sections, build new ships, fight enemies, and collect resources. And as time is elapsing, these facilities will begin to accumulate resources. This fuel refinery, for example, right here, will gain 2 fuel a day. Note it doesn't say 1, it says 2. The tutorials only said 1, but whatever, we'll cover that later. In any case, it already has 2 fuel out of the maximum of 25 it can hold. We won't know which of these are operational until we get there, and once we arrive, it will begin producing the resources. So I think they produce resources at a much slower rate if you do not get to them. And also, during our time spent exploring and doing various things, these flesh vessels, the Chrull, will be sending out enemies from this open portal. We will want to shut that portal down at some point, but we'll need to be able to destroy this singular Tier 1 Elder Clipper in order to do that. We can't do so at the moment, or at least I don't think we'll be able to. There's not a 100% chance we'll guaranteed success rate, given that we have a rogue. So we'll want at least a second vessel before we do that. When it comes to the resources at each of these planets, the nebula always can possess, will always possess fuel if the facility is up and running. Dark matter is held at pulsars. Asteroid fields have materials, and crew can be found in planetary systems. What else is there? I think that's about sums it up at the start. All right, so, let's cover all these things as well. So we can see our current fuel reserves here. Sending a fleet out will cost fuel for it to make the trip. The further away from the location that your ship is being sent from, the more fuel it will require to get there. So, for example, if I want to send a fleet here, I can see it will take me 3 fuel to reach the Ghost Head Nebula. If I was to instead launch that fleet here, it would be 14 fuel. The amount of fuel is dependent upon the distance of the fleet from where you are launching it. Not the number of ships present in the fleet, to my knowledge, does not impact the travel cost whatsoever. It's the same amount no matter what. What else is there? I guess that's... let's cover these things as well. Dark matter is not as important early on as materials are, but it will be very important. Dark matter is used for the construction of ships, for the healing of your personnel and of your ships, and is required in research as well. Materials is used to construct various facilities. Sometimes dark matter is as well. It's also used for research. Crew is used for building ships. Some research requires you to consume crew. And finally, crew acts as a secondary health pool for your Halcyon 6. When enemies bombard Halcyon 6, they will begin removing the life of your station, and I believe the number of crew present on it. I think you lose the game if your station is reduced to 0. You might lose the game if your crew is ever reduced to 0 through bombardment. We will gain drones at some point in the game as well. Normally, you have to send fleets out to gather all the resources as they are being accumulated in all these different sectors, or whatever these are, these points of interest. You can build a drone at a point of interest, and it will automatically begin to bring the resources back to your starbase. As soon as it reaches the maximum amount, a drone will launch from that location to the starbase, bringing you that resource automatically. So this way, you never have to go there yourself in person. Finally, we have artifacts. I have no clue what this is. I have not played the Lightspeed edition beyond a tiny bit to see what differences there were, and I did not construct this precursor vessel. So I'm guessing it's used for that, but I'm not sure. Finally, we have our crew morale. The higher this is, the better stats we get. The worse off it is, we begin taking penalties. So, you'll note I mentioned we want to get overkills as well. We got a piece of equipment in one of the battles. Whenever you overkill an enemy, you are supposedly guaranteed, I thought, a piece of equipment. So I'm not sure why we didn't get one when we overkilled the pirate Shiv. Maybe you also have a chance, instead of getting this, of getting more materials or something of the sort instead. In any case, this is a piece of equipment. The Chaos Aurora 1. We can see it increases damage. It lowers our ship's ability to resist weapons down and sensors offline. No ship powers are added, so this is a passive ability. Why don't we just go ahead and equip it? So let's go to... Is it the launch screen? Is it in the equipment screen itself? If I click on this... It's not in ship construction. Repair, rename. Oh, here it is, edit. All right, we'll go ahead and add the Chaos Aurora to it. And I don't see anything being affected. Oh, it's right here, minus 5%. Oh, it's actually a bonus. Is that right? If I take that off? Oh, it's a bonus. So, wait, is it a bonus? We have plus 75%. Oh, no, we have plus 75% chance to resist weapons disruption. That drops to 70%. And we have more of a chance to not resist sensors offline. Okay, okay. All right, so let's... we can just leave the ship there. So let's go ahead and begin by clearing out more ruined sections, shall we? We'll add an officer. Corbin Lao. Come down here. I will add an officer. Katie Mikhailov. Oh, I should explain some of this stuff too. Hold on. Let's cancel these. Let's cancel the task. So let's go back. It cost me nothing to assign an officer and then not do anything with it in this case. So we'll cancel that task as well. So, do you see these right here? This shows how they're kind of hinting as to what type of class is best at this and how long that class it would take to clear the room. We can see that it will take 2 days to clear the room is what it's estimating. If I add an officer and we add, say, Corbin Lao, we can see that he more than fills the tactical requirement, almost fills the science, and kind of fills the engineering, and this is going to impact the amount of time it takes for him to clear this room. In this case, it doesn't really. It still takes him 2 days. But generally, that's important, because if we were to go to the task, there's no task we can do. So if some tasks would prefer you to use a different type of character class to complete them. For example, a task might have 80 science or just 40 engineering, in which case an engineering officer would be far better to assign to that task than a science officer. Sometimes only one of these tags shows up, in which case you really just want that type of class doing the task. Everyone else will take the longest possible amount of time to complete it instead. Okay, so let's go ahead and advance time. Oh, nope, not quite yet. We have enough dark matter. Let's go ahead and construct another vessel. We have a science officer, so we want a science vessel. You can see the differences over here between the two of them. I think the enemies that we're fighting, the Chrull, tend to prefer using hull breach and weapons disruption for the most part. So let's use the Disciple rather than the Acolyte, since the Acolyte is not as resistant to hull breach compared to the Disciple. It'll take us 26 crew, 490 dark matter, and 3 days to build this. Next, we should look into building one of these, researching one of these. Let's start with that Officer Academy. Research how to build an Officer Academy to unlock additional officers, improve officers, and replace officers killed in the line of duty. 200 materials, 150 dark matter. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and pass a little bit of time. I guess we'll play like another 10 minutes or so. Commander, we've cleared out that section you asked for. Acknowledged. Is that both sections? It was both sections. We cleared out that section you asked for as well. Okay, so let's take a look. What do we want to build? I definitely want the Officer Academy. I thought we got a free plan for a special type of room. I don't see it here. Oh well, alright, let's go ahead and build an Officer Academy somewhere. Let's put up near the officers' quarters. Allows you to unlock additional officer slots. The Officer Academy is where crew members can train in hopes of eventually becoming a prestigious Halcyon 6 officer. Almost all materials are already gone. Since we're still waiting for that one Disciple to be made, let's go ahead and try clearing out another section. Let's clear out this one. Now this time, I'm only going to assign Corbin Lao to the task. We haven't fought anything in either of these room clears, and I'm suspecting we'll get a we will have to fight something in this one. So I'm not going to assign my other officer, for reasons I'll explain if I'm correct. The new Disciple class starship is now ready for active duty. All it needs now is a commanding officer, which you may assign from the ship management console. Still waiting one more day. Commander, we've cleared up the section you asked for. Okay. Commander, your officer has leveled up. Select their portrait to promote them. They have earned a skill point that can be used to unlock a space or ground combat power. I would recommend you do this now. Now, things have changed dramatically, everyone, since the base game here in Lightspeed Edition. Because instead of just selecting an ability to gain, and then leveling it up later, we actually have a talent tree now. So we have 1 point to place. And the way this talent tree works, from my slight experimentation with it, is to gain an ability. All of the lines that pass to that ability from the left must be filled. So for example, if we wanted precision attacks, we must unlock precision artillery and advanced shot randomization. To unlock precision artillery, we would need to unlock sniper systems and scatter shot. So in other words, to gain this ability, we must have sniper systems, scatter shot, precision artillery, advanced shot randomization. All of them are required. In my case, I kind of liked Into the Fray and Dimensional Flashbang. So we're going to go towards both of these. That's a bit awkward, but if I want one of these abilities, I'm taking a ground power to start. So let's grab Targeting Assistance, ground combat power to start. It grants allies targeting assistance. We could see what that did if I was allowed to right-click on it, but I'm not. Let's go ahead and just take it. Oh, it says right here, temporarily provides your team with improved aim and damage plus 25%, and if the enemy had confusion on them, it would exploit it and do more damage to them. And now he's gained it as a ground power. I believe his traits also slightly updated or upgraded when he leveled up as well. Okay, well, let's get started with a few of these miscellaneous things. So before we take on the pirates, I'd like to collect a few resources. Let's go ahead and send a fleet out here. We could send one fleet, both ships, to one spot, or we could send one ship to one and another ship to another. But since we're low on fuel, we'll go ahead and just send both the ships together. Now, I am going to make this a little different, because I like having a heal. Adaptive armor does heal, very slightly, but I'm thinking I want Corduroy's Hole instead. So we'll go with this. Okay, let's launch about. We're a little damaged. I guess we'll repair all. It's just 6 dark energy. So, whenever we stop by a location, we can transfer the resource to the fleet that it produces here. We could also evacuate the facility if we so desired. That would take all the population and add it in, I guess, instead of the resources or in addition to the resources. This is useful if you do not think that you will be able to defend the location. Maybe you have so many locations up and running, but there's too many enemies around and you know you're going to lose a few. In that case, rather than let the enemies just destroy all the crew population there, you could evacuate it, take them with you, and say, forget it, we're not going to be able to defend this location, let them have it, or it's too far for me to give it a good defense or defend it in time. Evacuate it instead. But you'll need to be here to do that. Let's transfer the fuel to the fleet. We can then view the facility, and you can do upgrades to all the facilities if you want. Here we could have this place generate additional fuel each day, or could have it such that it actually has more fuel that it will hold, more maximum fuel. We're not going to do this at the moment, though. Now, note that we gathered fuel. It went into our actual reserves. To my knowledge, fuel does not need to be brought back to the Starbase to be utilized any longer. That was the case early on. It's still the case for the tutorial, but it's not the case in actuality. I would like to go here, because this is an asteroid, which means that it will produce materials for me, but I think we'll stop by at least this location on the way. Something I should also point out, see this? Some systems, in fact I think most systems, have a system trait of some sort. this affects the battle. And in this case, no vessel would be able to, they'd all resist engines down if status effects, or I think have a greater chance to be resistant to them, and take greatly reduced damage from those abilities. In this case, ships can't be disabled here. Let's head on in. It's only 3 fuel. Let's go ahead and redirect them. The dark matter extractor appears offline, Commander. I'm not reading any Terran life signs inside. There is, however, something moving around in the storage bays. The level of interference suggests that some stored dark matter is still inside. We can send an away team to retrieve the dark matter and bring it back to Halcyon 6, but whatever destroyed the extractor is still there. Should we send a team looking for resources? So if you don't do this now, you won't get a chance to do it later. Let's go ahead and show you an away mission. Now, because we have 2 ships, we get both of our commanders, our heroes are here. We also, however, we need a third. In this case, your thirds are comprised of what are called green shirts. Green shirts are the equivalent of the red shirts in Star Trek. They're rather weak, but they're there, and the enemy will focus on them generally to start because they're so easy to kill. There is a building you can upgrade and research you can do to make your green shirts more combat effective. In any case, we don't really get a choice as to which of these builds you want. There's no editing for this. Let's go ahead and deploy and start. Oh, that's mean. You got to go right away. A juvenile Chrull sensate. Chaos beam. Excrete bomb, which is a heal with a 4-turn cooldown. This guy can be easily blinded. We have a blinded? We do not. Alright, so let's start with a afflicted. Irradiate. Oh, nice. Reduces the damage that he takes. Let's then go ahead and do a... I'm going to put bleeding on him rather than blind him to start, because I think he's going to heal himself next. Oh, he dodged it. Good for him. Oh, we'll try that again. He didn't. He attacked again. Alright, let's inflict Psionic Blast, which might put a crew panic on him, or just a panic or fear. Confused. Unit is panicked and may act out on its own. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So that affects us mostly. So for us, we won't get control of the ship. In their case, maybe they won't use an ability that they would otherwise use. Since he is confused, I think we'll use targeting assistance to exploit that. Note that when we exploited the status effect was removed. Exploiting status effects removes them. This makes it kind of iffy on whether or not you really want that extra damage, because sometimes it's much more important for you to keep the status effect on them instead. So let's put back on Irradiate. And Blind Up. This may actually kill him. It might kill him. We'll go ahead and heal. Green shirts don't need to be healed. We'll get a different green shirt at the next time we have a ground combat, assuming these two are still fighting ground combats. Like if we have another encounter at another planet. So it's not worth healing them unless you really want to keep them alive for the current battle. Oh, I'm going to blind him again. We might get overkill. Nope. Oh, blinding greatly reduces the chance the enemy will hit. I think it's by 30%. We managed to retrieve 55 cases of dark matter safely, Commander. We should return to the Starbase now. So this... Oh, and we have a promotion. Our physicist has leveled up. I kind of really want warp atomic structure, and I wouldn't mind having the siphoned dark matter. Ooh. Ablative field space is also rather nice. Let's grab this to start. Unlocks the ablative field space combat power. Surrounds the ship with a defensive... defensive shield. Maybe I don't want that. It's nice. It's nice. But I think I want 7 dark matter more. Alright, we'll start with this. So let's take time manipulation. Unlocks the delayed recovery ground combat power and adds +5 speed to the ship this officer is assigned to. Delayed recovery slowly heals your target over time. Heals 480% base damage over 4 rounds. Now, this location is destroyed. There is nothing here. But we could build this location up if we wanted to. Basically assigning people to work this facility. It would cost 75 people to do so, but we have to be level 4 to do so. And look at those numbers. It would take a while to do so. In any case, we're not going to do so at the moment. Let's head over here to Ada. I wouldn't mind knowing if we have dark matter facilities somewhere close to us. Commander, Corbin Lao's fleet made contact with the dark matter extractor at Eda. Patching you through now. Commander, thank heavens you found us when you did. We probably couldn't have lasted another few days with these alien fleets swarming around. What we have here, Commander, is a fully functional dark matter extractor. While we wouldn't mind being extracted to your station, it sounds like dark matter might come in handy for you. Taking that into account, we'll stay here and keep extracting until you say the word. Okay, we'll transfer that dark matter to the fleet. I'm going to leave them here. There's 0 dark matter here. They can have a total of 148, and they extract 7 a day. And now we know that this location is here. Let's visit... Yeah, let's visit Alpha Delphini. Planetary stars generally hold non-extreme characteristics that act as natural environments for life-sustaining planets to exist. If the planetary star contains a colony, it will produce crew over time. Commander, the Officer Academy is now online. Acknowledged. New candidates are ready to be selected for promotion to officer. Let's see them. So we don't have an inventor yet, so I kind of want one. Though, to be honest, I want that inventor to have not Chaos Theorist, because we already have one. I want him to be whatever that other prestige class is. So I'm going to try a reroll. Commando, perfect. So we're going to go with this guy. Cheney Gomez. Sometimes called the hero of the Battle of the Dark Horse Nebula, where she performed a daring ram maneuver against a Zlar battleship, or alternatively, the hero of the Battle of Artanis Field, where she also performed a daring ram maneuver against a malfunctioning collective science vessel. Cheney Gomez isn't famous for perhaps overusing ramming maneuvers at every available opportunity. The officer has received more citations for potential vessel endangerment than her, though she has always succeeded in overturning them on appeal. Does she have ram? She does have ramming speed. That's pretty nice. Oh, but I don't know if I want these. I guess we'll take him anyway. Why not? We'll go ahead and give these a try. Mostly because I like Salvage Harpoon, which is a damage over time effect that applies vulnerable. But that means we'd have to have a different type of mechanic. And I don't know if I'd be guaranteed to get Commando in the future. So we'll try this. So let's select her. Commander, thank you for this opportunity. You won't be disappointed, sir. Let's go back to the Starbase. And can I build... Where is that special room that I supposedly have? Do I have to research it? Oh, this is it. Starship Hangar Precursor Starship. But I need 300 materials now to build it, so we don't have that, so we're not doing that. That's all there is to it. I feel it's more important for us to have the Officer Academy anyway, so... Okay, on that note, let's go ahead and... I guess we'll have our new engineer explore this location. I'm kind of nervous about that, so I'm going to save the game. And we'll play another 6 minutes, and then it'll be 8 o'clock my time. We'll call it quits. All right, let's pass by... Oh, pass by time. Can I build an actual ship for her? We can. We should. There's no reason why we should not do this. So, let's build... Not sure. I guess we'll build the Knight. It has less crew cost, and that's more important to me at the moment. Of course, this means I'm not building a precursor vessel, or probably not now. Whatever, too late. Let's go. Commander, Corbin Lao's fleet made contact with a colony at Alpha Delphini. Delphini, actually. You keep mispronouncing it. Patching you through now. Finally, a friendly face. We were cut off by those creatures a few weeks ago. We caught a number of transmissions from nearby facilities. Horrible. Awful. We were sure we'd be up next. We have a fully stocked and functional colony here, Commander. Consider it at your disposal. We're not gonna lie. Most of us would prefer to be evacuated to that station of yours. But if you need us here, we can pull in any Federation refugees we encounter from the area. Right, we'll transfer 6 crew. They get 2 a day. They can hold 32 crew maximum. Commander, now that we've made contact with the few surviving Federation colonies, we might want to look into reestablishing our network of satellite drones to automate resource retrieval. We've found a few lying around the Starbase that you can deploy immediately to get started, and officers required to travel to the individual Federation colony facilities to configure the satellite there. Once configured and deployed, whenever the facility is at maximum capacity, it will load up a freighter, which will take a few days, and then send it automatically to Halcyon 6. If you want to build more, though, we'll have to research the satellite drones tech and then build a satellite drones control room. After that, we can build and deploy as many satellite drones as we please. Acknowledged. They are really useful, especially I find for crew and fuel locations. This is because crew fills up extremely quickly, in this case, in 16 days. Compared to dark matter extraction, which will take significantly longer than that. As well as putting them in far away locations would also be helpful. I do not think we can deploy them now, though. Oh, we can! We could! 5 days? Can I do that? 4 days. It's so tempting to do it right now. I'm gonna do this. Let's do this. Confirm task. Yeah, it's worth it. Starbase exploration attack. Your exploration team is under attack. Your exploration crew have been ambushed by a bevy of Chrull. Prepare for combat. That looks nothing like what we saw earlier. Juvenile Chrull tyrant. We have 2 green shirts and our engineer. Good luck. Barrier. 25% damage resistance. Let's inflict exposed, which will hopefully counter that. It's not very good against it, unfortunately, but we'll try anyway. Nah, resisted the effect. Let's try blinding him then. So there's a minus 30 aim. And you also have blinded. We'll just use laser pistol. Let's try inflicting that exposed. Oh, we could exploit the blinded. Let's do that. Good work, green shirts. Your crew was successful against the Chrull. Acknowledged. And she was promoted. So, I have healing abilities. Oh, no, we don't have any healing abilities at the moment, though. Maybe we should take Repair Drone Overdrive? I also would like ramming, and it makes sense for given the background. So let's go ahead and take Enhanced Structural Confidence. Unlocks the ramming speed ship combat power. Okay, that's it. one more minute. I would like this to be finished before we call it quits. Commander, we've cleared up that section you asked for. Let's go to that location. And we're not going to build anything there at the moment. Let's instead explore another section. Slightly fast. Oh, actually much faster. One single day. Officer promoted. Officer promoted. Officer promoted. The new Knight-class starship is now ready for active duty. All it needs is a commanding officer, which you may assign from the ship management console. Completed. Expand the fleet. So all this stuff got done, and we received 25 crew as a reward. Guess they materialized out of nowhere. We'll assign her to the ship, and that's awesome. And I will call it quits once this completes, everyone. So we have a knight, which is not doing anything. We could send it here to fight this single shiv, but I kind of want to wrap all this up at once. So we'll send a fleet over here, all three of them, to wipe out all those pirates instead. Let's send our knight out exploring a little bit. Send a new fleet. Create new fleet. Oh, cancel. We will wait until that gets finished first. Excellent. Cleared out another room. Acknowledge. Stop. Let's send you out. We'll pick up that 10 fuel, transfer it, leave the system. And then I think we'll head over here. Commander, Miss Gomez is reporting that the materials mine at Amazon is in ruins. However, with enough crew, we could probably get it back up and running again. Okay, so no ground combat there either. So we will send her over here. We kind of need another fuel location. Commander, your satellite drone has been deployed at Alpha Delphani. You keep mispronouncing that place, though. Automated resource delivery should commence soon. Perfect. All right, everyone, we'll stop here. Thank you guys for watching. So we've done the tutorial. Hopefully things are making a little bit of sense to you guys. We have some drones deployed here at this colony. We're now going to send this fleet over here to investigate the materials that looks like they're ready, and then we'll recall this fleet. At the same time, this guy will probably have investigated at least this location. We might send this guy over here to these fuel locations as well, looking for some fuel. In any case, we're exploring the areas that were destroyed by the Chrull, finding 3 of them intact, giving us some dark matter, some crew, the crew will be automatically delivered, and some fuel. And hopefully we'll find more fuel, get some more materials, build that, whatever it is, that special base for the precursor vessel, and who knows what else. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Ooh, that was a mistake.